something really unique and special. I say this every time, and as media people have a habit of telling you that whatever we have got is breaking, it's breaking news and everything, the headline, but this is truly something we are doing for the first time. We're talking about manufacturing productivity, which is a very technical subject and usually discussed within the confines of academia, at least from what I have seen in B2B media or even mainstream media, that this subject, manufacturing productivity, what are its different methodologies, processes, are not discussed a lot in the mainstream media. So this must be at least among the first few times that you must be seeing this, and not only being discussed in mainstream media, on social media, but also having the experts of the subject, people who not only live and breathe this subject, who actually have skin in the game as far as this process, the subject is concerned. We are very fortunate to have them with us. I'll just briefly talk about what we mean by the subject manufacturing productivity, what are its different aspects that we are going to cover during today's discussion, and then I'll introduce our esteemed speakers for you. The very concept of productivity, manufacturing productivity, has been around for a very long time, dating back to the 18th century. The famous book of the economist Adam Smith, the British economist Adam Smith, who spoke about productivity, the animal spirits in motion, and how when people work together, you get value out of manufacturing, out of product and production. And it's been a long, long time. It's been about 200 to 300 years where there have been a lot of developments in terms of measuring productivity. Earlier, originally, from what I understand, from an editorial, from a writer's perspective, and our experts will weigh in some time. From my limited understanding, the couple of factors that go into measuring productivity on the shop floor are cost. Obviously, cost lies at the center of everything that happens in business. We have the labor arbitrage or labor and other values that go into it, which are time and other things. And they have evolved over time. Having said that, in today's times, and things are progressing very fast, everybody's talking about AI and everybody's talking about 3D printing, sustainability, resilience. These things are coming up since the world is so closely connected now. So the overall takeaway of today's discussion that we are looking forward to having is that whether we are able to integrate, whether we are integrating these new concepts like sustainability and resilience into manufacturing productivity, and if we are doing that, in what ways and how else can we do it better. Now, this is my absolute honor to introduce our esteemed speakers to you. We have Sharad Kulkarni, who is Sales Director Asia, Dormer Pramit. Sharad has more than 22 years of professional experience in the metal cutting industry. He has worked in various roles with Sandvik Coromant, where he was responsible for driving sales for Northern, Western, and Eastern regions. He was also responsible for business development for the automotive segment for Asia region. Sharad is a mechanical engineer from Pune University, where when he gets time outside work, Sharad likes to read and he likes to write blogs. We have Shrikant. Yes, Sharad, you were saying something?
No, I said just thank you.
I hope I didn't err in
yes.
Anywhere. Oh, great, thank you. Thanks, Sharad. We have Shrikant Wale. Shrikant is Executive Vice President, Delivery, Praj Industries Limited. Shrikant has over 32 years of experience in manufacturing operations domain in large engineering industries. Currently, he is working as Executive Vice President Delivery at Praj Industries Limited, Pune, and is heading manufacturing and procurement setups at Pune and Kandla. Praj has registered 60% plus growth rate for the past 2 years on account of capacity enhancements through productivity improvements and vendor development. In his earlier stint as the head of operations at Thermax, Shrikant has led greenfield factory projects in China and India. He comes with extensive experience and expertise in manufacturing, execution planning, vendor development, and project management. He's a mechanical engineer by training and has undergone operations management program at IIMB and leadership program at ISB. We have Karthik Ananta, Head Research and Development Division, Omega Seiki Mobility. Karthik has 14 years of experience working in companies like Terra Motors, Go Green BOV, and currently is heading Research and Development Division at Omega Seiki Mobility. He's experienced in developing, implementing, supporting technical in new product development, value and reverse engineering and quality. He has worked with global companies to assure problem-free CKD kits to India. He is also an expert in the identification of important parameters from fitment, function, and performance point of view. He now intends to create world-class solutions for partners, clients, and associates. And he believes that with the right technology, we can make vehicle technology last forever in one form or another, and in doing so, drastically reduce costs and the environmental impact. A belief that is proven to be true at Omega Seiki Mobility. Karthik, we want to know much more about this than we are reading over here. He is an engineer by training from NITTE, Meenakshi Institute of Technology, Bangalore. We have Ramaswamy Srinivas, who friends and colleagues call Srini, and I'm going to call him Srini as well. He is Technical Sales Manager, Autodesk's Advanced Manufacturing Solutions. Srini is currently working as a Technical Sales Manager at Autodesk's Advanced Manufacturing Solutions team, leading a strong pre-sales technical team for India, ASEAN, and ANZ. He has got more than 2 decades of experience in subtractive manufacturing. After completing tool and die making studies and business management degree, he started his career as a tool maker and went on to be a designer and CAM specialist before joining Delcam, where he spent 12 years driving the technical team and bringing customer outcomes. He has a strong manufacturing background, supporting different industries like automobile, aerospace, and consumer products. He has been instrumental in many customer success stories, adopting Autodesk CAM products, and truly driving customers to imagine, make anything. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for listening to all these introductions. Now I'm going to put up my first question that we all want to ask our panelists. Now, what are the current ways of measuring productivity in the shop floor, in your experience, whether it is your business, whether it is the industry, and what are the elements that go into it? That's the basic premise of this topic, and we'd like to start from Sharad. Sharad, over to you.
Thank you very much, Anand. First of all, thank you for inviting me to this very interesting discussion, and also part of this privileged panel over here. If you take a step back and think about productivity, and think about what are the forces which are driving enterprises today and the consequent impact on productivity, I think it's very important to think about those. So I'll just take a minute to kind of list down some of the things. And the first and the most important thing, when you talk about the driving forces, one of the most important things is the demographic change, and we know very well that there are parts of the world the demography is, the average age is very high, and the average age of population is very high. And clearly, there are parts of the world where the average age of population is very less, like in the case of India and Asia and Africa. So, so consequently, the decisions on how we kind of look at productivity will kind of differ based on the kind of geography we are present into, and how we take advantage of the existing workforce which is available. The second force, which is a driving force, which is very important, is rapid scale urbanization. We know that most of the people in the world are now started to live in the cities. It is true for India also. Within a few years, most of the people in India will start living in cities. And that is a unique kind of a situation that presents itself a lot of challenges, but also a lot of opportunities for enterprises. The third force that we very well know is the force of digitalization, and the world between the virtual and physical world is blurring. Everything is getting digitized. The customer expectation is increasing in terms of product, the delivery, the price, and that is of course putting a lot of demands on the manufacturing companies as well. The issue of energy transition is also a hotly debated topic these days. We are moving from the traditional sources of energy to more reliable sources of energy, and of course we are also, many many countries are in different stages in this journey. Some of them are quite ahead, some of them are a little behind the curve. But overall, energy transition and the whole issue of sustainability, connected to that is very important. And last but not the least, if I had been on this panel, let's say 4 years ago, 5 years ago, I would talk of globalization as a factor. But clearly now I have to replace the globalization with geopolitics. And having, in my current role, since I'm handling some of the markets like China, I can see that the impact of the geopolitics is quite real. It's quite tangible in some of these markets. So what is happening is that these forces are acting along with other forces. So for the manufacturing companies, the situation is kind of widely fluctuating. The economic cycles are becoming more and more unpredictable. And the key demand, I think, from manufacturing companies, as you said, is resilience, flexibility, adaptability to the demands on the market side. So looking at these factors, I would say that the productivity, which I would equate to profitability in any kind of a manufacturing company, would be meeting the customer demands, meeting the market demand, while simultaneously keeping down the inventory levels, reducing the cost, improving the quality, and as well focus on sustainability. So that's how I would put it, that these are some of the things. It's a very challenging situation, but as I said, this is also an opportunity for people, for manufacturing companies to work on this very important thing. So that's how I will kind of start defining the productivity and for manufacturing companies.
Thanks so much, Sharad. That's very insightful. The parameters, the attributes of quality, cost, sustainability, you brought all that in and told us how geopolitics, for example, is becoming so much more important. I'd like to now ask Shrikant the same question, and also as Sharad has elaborated, a lot of our viewers and readers, a large percentage of them are from the technical side and have risen from the technical side, from the shop floor. But also there is a wider population, wider section that is becoming interested in manufacturing, not to speak of the functions within the companies that are not so well versed with the technical side. So Shrikant, my question to you is the same as I asked Sharad, and just to reiterate that if we could simplify the concept of manufacturing productivity for the larger population, for the students who are watching this, and what are the outcomes, what are the factors, attributes that Sharad pointed out that go into this concept? Shrikant.
Yeah, thank you, Anand. First of all, thanks a lot for inviting me to this forum. It's going to be really an exciting discussion here. And thanks, Sharad. I think I'll just pick up the cue that you said on the energy transition. So I come from Praj Industries from Pune, which is a bioenergy major, and we are contributing to a large extent in terms of the energy transition that is happening on sustainable energy fuels, which are the biofuels. And just to go back to the question of what Anand had posed, and since you said that I can go a little bit in detail in terms of the parameters that probably we use for productivity measures. So if I recall, about 25, 30 years back when I joined the industry, what were the productivity measures on the shop floor when we started working on shop? Probably that time we were not happening what is currently happening in the world. So maybe the measures were limited to some extent, and probably if I can recollect, we could be measuring what's the production output. So very basic things, what's the output that is happening per month. It could be varying from industry to industry. It could be numbers for some industry, tonnage produced for some industry, some other parameter for any other industry as such. But the numbers would be the main thing. What's the output per unit of time? And then obviously the next thing important those days was the labor productivity. So are the people working with the efficiency which they are supposed to work? So many minutes, so many seconds, a part is supposed to get manufactured. Industrial engineering was at the forefront that time. The time studies, and as per the time standards, what's the labor productivity that we are getting. So, though that was the time. So obviously the revenue generated, the cost that is getting consumed, capacity that is getting utilized. So those were also all the parameters that were getting monitored. Now, as we moved towards, the 1985, 90s was the era where we started moving towards ISO 9001 and TQM and value-added management. So those all things came in, and probably the shift started happening towards more of becoming customer-centric. And then we started monitoring all other parameters as well, which may not be actually related to the productivity on shop floor as such, but it became, see, when you say productivity, it's more related to production. When you say manufacturing as such, then we encompass a lot of other parameters as well. And probably that's the time where we started thinking of what the customer wants. And from that perspective, whether it's getting on-time delivery, what the customer complaints are, what nature those complaints are we delivering right first time, what's the rework happening on shop floor, rework percentage, rejection percentage, and because of that, what's the cost of poor quality, or what's the cost of maintaining quality also. So all the parameters of COPQ per se started getting monitoring in order to deliver, the services to customer better. We also started monitoring the service responses and the resolution time that's taken to, solve a customer issue. So these all started happening in, last 10, 20 years. We have seen that all of these have become a normal thing. But this is how the industries have graduated. We also learned a lot of Japanese techniques. So people started following 5S, Kaizen. So everything, started coming up. So that way, the measurement also started on what's the improvement happening on shop floor? How many projects you are completing? What's the benefit out of it? And is it adding to any bottom line benefit as well? So those were also the factors that were getting monitored. We learned many different techniques from Japanese people. We also learned TQM, we learned TPM. So a lot of things on machine maintenance started happening in terms of machine uptime, MTTR, MTBF. So all of these norms we started to monitor. Preventive maintenance, productive maintenance, predictive maintenance, which is now happening with the help of IoT. So this is how we have graduated in the field of maintenance domain as well. Safety was one aspect which probably wasn't as much given importance in the earlier days, but that started happening. So it started happening, measuring the safe working hours, the lost time injuries, first aid cases. People started measuring the near misses and the at-risk behavior reported on shop floor. So the Henry's triangle was something which was getting, displayed everywhere. So on safety aspects also, the measurement started happening, and many of the customers who especially come from multinationals, when they used to visit any of the Indian factories, the first question they used to pose was on safety. What's your safety record? And that became a very prime, metric for checking out how the management is working here. Cost part you touched upon, but there could be some more aspects which are getting monitored nowadays. Very clearly, inventory is a major thing which gets monitored in terms of what's the WIP you are carrying on shop floor, how you are reducing the cycle time to reduce your inventory, what's the fixed versus variable cost structure. Are you more flexible in that sense? So that any ups and downs in the market, you should be able to manage your own cost structure as well. So I would say, in a nutshell, this is how the overall measures have evolved over a period of time. And as we have progressed, obviously we have added some more measures. Now we have moved from industry 3 to 4 to industry 5.0. Now we are talking, where we believe that the renewable energy sources in which bioenergy will play a major role, added to the human centricity and the industry 4.0, whatever aspects we are saying. So all that put together, industry 5.0 is where we are moving. ESG is becoming a norm. So with all that into consideration, the new metrics are going to get formed. I think we'll discuss that as we go further in the discussion.
The last 5-6 minutes I learned something that I would have otherwise taken months, years to understand.
Anand, your voice is cracking.
I learned a lot. She continue now.
Yeah, it's still a little bit cracking.
Industry way. Is this better now?
No, it's still not good.
Still not good. Okay. Okay. Is this better now?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, much better.
Okay. Thanks, Karthik. Thanks for pointing out, Shrikant. My podcast microphone was disconnected, and I was coming to you through my laptop phone microphone. Great. So, Shrikant, I was saying that in the last 5-6 minutes, I learned months, if not years, worth of understanding and knowledge about productivity. So that was really very well recapped for not only for me but for our listeners and readers. So thanks so much, Shrikant. It was very, very helpful. And you mentioned something that I'm going to weave into my next question, which is the newer paradigms, the safety part, the okay. All right. Okay, I had to start my video. Thanks, Mr. Admin. So the next question I'm going to weave into is, which not now, but next one is in the last 3-4 years, what new things have come into play? And you spoke about resilience. Sharad spoke about geopolitics, and these things have become very important now. Manufacturing people have started to understand it's very inextricably linked to supply chain, obviously. So when supply chains get disturbed, manufacturing professionals and companies also have to learn and cope, step up with their practices. But is going to be my next question. There's a lot more to cover. And Karthik is there. Karthik, full disclosure first, I am very bullish on EV stocks. So anything that I'm going to say should not be construed as me promoting EV, but I cannot do anything. They're already red hot, and your company is doing absolutely great. Uday, Mr. Naran, is a very sought after speaker on our forums, as he is on others. And great to have you, Karthik, over here. Your perspective of productivity, what your company has experienced, and what your industry is adopting measures which are evolving with the current times. Karthik?
Okay, see, like anything for that matter. Now, what we feel is like nothing is perfect. Now, initially we came out with, I'm just giving you an example actually. Initially, we came out with a 75-kilometer range vehicle. But on the other hand, that was not sufficient for the market. Then we launched a 85-kilometer range vehicle. Again, it was not sufficient. Again, 110 kilometer, not sufficient. We are working on 250-kilometer range, not sufficient. So again, it's like, yeah. And again, with respect to the, we started working on the swap in order to provide a 24 hours operation. Again, people were happy with swapping option within 3 minutes, but not happy with the range of 55. Again, we came out with a new solution of 75 and one more solution with a 90-kilometer. Again, not happy. So we are working again on the fixed battery with the 15 minutes charging. So it's like the things are evolving continuously. There is nothing like we can fix, we can work on anything which is fixed or anything as such. So every now and then, we like the main factor that actually comes into picture is adaptability, agility. So when you consider any okay, now we've come out with, now for example, I'll just give you an example. Initially, when the automotive sector came into picture, the entire body panel was handcrafted. Later on, stamping process was introduced by Ford. And then later on, it was like from Ford, it was a push system to the market. Whatever I'm manufacturing is what you need to buy. There was no such options to the customer. But now, later on, Toyota came into picture when it has come out with a pull system. So each and everything, it's like now it's a customer centric. Whatever is the demand that is there in the market is what we have to produce. Now, considering that in mind, it all comes into adaptability. Okay, right now, like we are following a certain chain and certain system, but there should always be a scope of improvement. Nothing we can say like this is a perfect system that I'm having or anything as such with respect to the production. So anything that needs to be changed has to be changed. Now, if in case, if I have to give yet another example, see, like maybe like it's just it's not respect to the production. It's just like in a cricket, if a batsman has like he has achieved like 18 runs in an over, there are certain people who see, wow, it's a great thing that has been done. But there are certain people, certain sector of like members, they might feel it like he has wasted 3 balls. He could have made 36. So it's always like you have to keep on changing. You have to keep improvising yourself. In the production, it's a harsh truth. We have to achieve. Like there is no scope for any like compromise on the quality or anything as such. What needs to be done has to be done. This is what I would.
Wow. Okay, that analogy was hit really close to home. So you're saying that we need Virat Kohli as much as we need Rahul Dravid. I'm sorry, I'm old. I can only remember cricketers from not from your generation, Karthik. But so we need pinch hitters and we need the wall.
See,
Rahul
with
Dravid.
respect to production,
Okay.
it's all about like always a six. We don't have any scope of like we cannot compromise on any quality or anything else. There
Okay.
is no
Okay.
like I can reduce the production, I can increase it or anything. Whatever
Okay.
is the demand, we have to deliver.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Thank you for correcting me there. See, this is the reason I keep coming back with questions. Okay. So we need hitters. We need people who think nothing less than a boundary. Is that correct, Karthik? We need performers.
See, it's not like we are perfect.
Okay.
Okay, I might be. We need performance. It's a continuous. It's an
Okay.
endurance game.
Okay. 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 Karthik, just a little bit, a wee bit more. You said something in your profile to the effect of with the right technology, we can make the vehicle uh, technology last forever, drastically reduce costs and the environmental impact. So now is your time to elaborate on what you've written in your profile.
Okay. See now, as I said, okay, there are multiple things. So initially, as I said, initially we were working on a fixed battery, but now that fixed that fixed battery we saw, okay, after 3 years there is no option for a customer. He has to, after 3 years, 5 years, 8 years, or down the line, he has to change a battery. But on the other hand, if we start working on a like swap battery, there is no end. It's like you can keep on swapping soon, like you can keep swapping your battery pack and you can continue your journey, keep on as soon like till the time the swap batteries are available or anything. Again, in the fixed battery also there are multiple technologies that we are working on. Like it's not like after 3000 cycles or 5000 cycles or 6000 cycles the battery should come to a grinding halt or anything as such. There should be energy left in that wherein it can start performing. Now for example, the kind of the what do you say, a recycling process that is happening. Okay, electric vehicle, a four-wheeler battery, it's not usable for four-wheeler, then we shift it to a three-wheeler. Okay, now the three-wheeler, it is not usable, now the battery has degraded. Okay, shift it to a two-wheeler or anything or some other vehicle, and then finally it's end up in some home UPS or anything as such. That keeps on shifting, so there is no end for that.
Thank you. Thank
And
you.
there are like, yeah, so there
Yes,
are
please.
like multiple things that we can actually explore. It's not like one single thing that we feel like it is done and dusted.
Thanks so much, Karthik, for elaborating. I appreciate it. Srini, your company is synonymous with manufacturing. Uh, to a lot of us, is the first point of contact when we come to the manufacturing industry. At least for me, my very first memory of knowing anything about manufacturing was seeing an Autodesk software doing the thing that it does. Uh, Srini, your perspective on how productivity is usually measured in our industry and how it is evolving with time.
Thanks, Ananda, and thanks for giving this opportunity. And of course, to I think the earlier panelist members who talked about or touched upon this topic. So it was a good learning, and of course, on how we look at. I think from my earlier speaker, Karthik, I could understand he talked about production, which is 100% always should be perfect. And then, of course, he was also talking about sustainability kind of thing. So catching hold of that, I think what we look at, how we look at from a manufacturing background, supporting our manufacturing customers, is basically like, so let me go back a little earlier, so maybe a decade or so back. So what was the main concerns for at that time for the manufacturers? Is basically when we interact with the customers, what they try to say is that they want to improve efficiency and bring product to market faster, have better connected workflows, experience seamless data transfer between their shop floors or within their organization, digital processes like how to reduce scrap and how to avoid human error. So these are some of the common uh, topics that comes out when we talk about productivity. So so when we as we look at productivity on a broader, or maybe on a for the entire manufacturing segment or industry, so these are some of the broad areas that the productivity could come in, not only on machine shop or only on specifically on machining, but it can be on different areas as such. So as Autodesk, if I have to look at from inside, like what is productivity for Autodesk? So my concept of looking at it will be different from the from the other panel members over here, because we are a software company supporting the manufacturers to excel in in their process kind of thing. So how we look at ourselves, like how we are developing our productivity, is that more on how we bring the updates to the customers, or how we evolve our software constantly to give a cutting edge technology, a futuristic technology for the customers, build something like that. And of course, to bring more like what are the support, or maybe what are the issues that the customer face, how we build it or how we address it in a very faster way. So this is what I look at as a productivity from inside perspective, from a software company. So some of the examples of that is, say for example, in our solutions, the cloud-based solutions, we generally build updates like 8 weeks. So we will not wait for an entire year to bring some updates. So we will constantly keeping our solutions or a technology advancement. So generally we bring in graduate on a 8 weeks space, we bring major updates. And if you look at the last 1 year, we have built more than 300 capabilities into our solution to support our customers, so addressing their concerns, and of course at the same time building the technology for the future. So this is the internal thing. So when I look at from an external perspective, from a customer standpoint, I think majorly the clear focus should be on how to create, or maybe I can put it in 4 broad categories. One is how to create better products. So through improved product performance, the aesthetics, quality, reliability, and reduced environmental impact. So keeping all these things into consideration, how to create better products. And the second one is how to win more business. So that is the key thing. So leading to how we can increase our market share, how we can increase the profits, how we can expand our products and service offerings. And of course, the third one is improve operational efficiency. So that is something related to the manufacturing segment as such, resulting in increased manufacturing throughput and improved supply chain agility and fewer defects. And of course, the last pillar that I will touch upon is enable increased innovation. So we have to keep improving. So improved collaboration across teams will definitely bring in a lot of advantages for us, and it will reduce the non-value added processes and bring parts or products to market faster. I think that is what I look at from external, from a customer standpoint.
Thanks so much. Thanks so much, Remy. Now you mentioned some very, very important points. For example, how to improve the quality of the product, many other attributes that have sustainability. Now that brings to mind one follow-up question, which I'll put forth for all the speakers, and which started the the train of thought started with when Sharad said, and I'll go to put this question first to Sharad, that I used to ask a lot of questions to speakers who've come here before on this panel about the pandemic, and at some point, some viewers said that, oh, you're sick of talking about the pandemic, and I could completely relate to that because I was also getting tired and sick of just talking about all these things. We wanted to get past that. And there is something called the pandemic fatigue that has crept in, which I think Booz and Ellen spoke about, that even companies don't want to talk about it. But then it's a harsh reality, something that we have faced in the past. And when we thought it was over, it came back again. My point is that I think it will be pertinent to talk about the lessons that we have learned. And things are still unraveling as we speak. As Sharad, you talked about geopolitical challenges. They're still unraveling, and they were born. They were in a way a product of the pandemic. So my question is that during the pandemic, supply chain disruptions happened, whether it is essentials, medicines, and obviously manufacturing industry was the first to be impacted because the plants had to be shuttered because of lockdown restrictions. A lot of people after the pandemic blamed lean practices when we speak of productivity. And Shrikant, just bringing in here something that you spoke about, Kanban and PQM practices that we learned from the Japanese, for example. We were talking about costs and saving and reducing wastage. These are Japanese practices born out of the aftermath of World War II. Now, a lot of people during the pandemic said that lean practices are to be blamed because all the time we were thinking about cost reduction and getting products available to the customer, but we forgot resilience. We forgot that when big things happen, drastic climatic disruptions happen, then manufacturing has to go on. We cannot just stop our production lines. So my question finally to you and other speakers is that what are the things that we, in terms of manufacturing, in terms of productivity, what are the things that the industry has learned from the pandemic? Over to you, Sharad.
Yeah, Anand, the pandemic was certainly a very challenging time for not only for the industry, the people, and of course, it was also a portion to learn some things. And as you can see that the economy in general has rebounded very strongly, and I think we see some gaps in the supply side. Primarily, the inflation is one of the outcomes that we see out of that. Well, when I talk to customers, basically when I go to there and visit them, I think they always talk about the profitability is something. I mean, you have to reduce the cost. You have to reduce my cost of manufacturing. And then I ask that, why you are so focused on reducing the cost of manufacturing? And this is somewhere I think we are not very happy with the profitability. And what even in spite of whatever has happened post the pandemic, or we are not able to meet the profitability objectives. And the reason is very clear. What is happening in the last few years, including the time of the pandemic, is that there is a growing divergence between the what we call as the cost of good per unit. And that is increasing at much faster pace. Inflation is one of the reasons, clearly. So the cost of the material, for example, the energy cost, kind of should it up. On the other hand, for the manufacturing companies who are manufacturing components or systems, equipments, the cost of the sales per unit has not increased that much, and that is because it's a competitive world. And this gap has resulted in the lower margins. Well, I think you can also take comfort from the fact that we can get higher volumes, but I think especially I think pandemic has shown us that the volume can be a very dicey thing, and it can fluctuate, as you said, very widely. So how to kind of protect or maintain the margins, and that in our world, I think in the machining world, we call as the productivity gap, the divergence between the cost of the goods per unit against the divergence sales cost per unit. How to fill the productivity gap, and this productivity gap is quite interesting and important to analyze. And one of the panelists said that the costs are divided between the fixed cost and the variable costs. Absolutely right. Today, when we look at the assets, the machines, I mean, you'd be surprised to know that when the machine is actually generating money, that is when it's, for example, area of machining area, is cutting chips, it's not more than 35 to 50, 40%, or even sometimes less than that. Okay. There is an immense scope for improving, the utilization and improving the productivity. So what is happening is that we should always remember that the fixed costs in any manufacturing company are contributing to the highest pie of the total cost, of total manufacturing cost. So productivity from that perspective is imperative. If you really want to reduce your cost and by doing that improve your profitability, that is something that you have to really focus on. So the fixed cost, and the fixed cost of course includes the cost of the assets, but also the manpower, which are fixed cost. So so as I said, that this is one area that I think we should really focus on, and then of course I would say the lean manufacturing techniques actually helped. They're not destroyed in any way the value of an enterprise, because they actually help to become enterprises more fitter in that sense. And I would definitely say that the things like Kaizen, and you can name many of them, 5S and Kanban and just in time, actually contrary to what has happened, have helped the companies to become more competitive rather than less competitive.
Thanks so much, Sharad. Shrikant, do we have to blame, is lean to be blamed for supply chain disruptions, and what have we learned from the pandemic?
Yeah, I think very clearly we could also see a little bit shift in the government strategy. What we started talking earlier as Make in India, recently we know that now everybody's talking about Atmanirbhar. And it's not happening only probably with India, but everywhere, everybody's talking being locally, everything what is locally available, that should be used. So rather than depending on specifically, if you have to take a name, China per se, every country was trying to see that how we can be, having a supply chain de-linked from China. And that became one of the factors where India became into forefront as one of the leading options for China plus strategy for many countries and industries as such. So I think the big gap that we have in terms of GDP percentage share of manufacturing sector, that itself is a big thing for us to have a push on manufacturing, have an increasing share of the world's manufacturing that should come to India. And for that, it's very much imperative that the productivity level in India goes up. Now, having worked in China for 5 years, I can very well say that we were manufacturing the same product here and there. And I could feel the difference the way things were happening on shop floor in China. So the 25-30% labor efficiency difference that happens in China, the kind of equipments, infrastructure, even the vendors are having, and the scale at which they are able to produce, that's quite unbeatable. And we have a lot to learn, and we have a lot of ground to cross. So in that sense, I think there is a lot of potential for Indian manufacturers as such to think in terms of getting a competitive edge. So we may be preferred as the next alternative location, but still if you have to be number one, then we have a long way to go. And for that, I think all the productivity measures that we can take to be number one are most welcome.
Wow, that's such a hard-hitting point, Shrikant. When we compare ourselves with other countries, we are able to really kind of size up where we stand and how we can improve the productivity levels. And you connected this so beautifully with productivity, with the concept of Atmanirbharta, self-reliance, self-sufficiency. Great. I take that point forward.
I would just like to add, at Praj, we also started practicing some different metrics. We also have businesses which are largely export oriented, and the customers there, those big multinational companies, always compare us with, the other suppliers from the other countries from where they are buying it. And that's where the competitive edge becomes very much important. And so we devised a so to say, composite metric index, which is called 0D, where we talk about zero defects, zero deviation, zero damages. So all of the metrics that we talk, we want to target zero on all of that. So zero defaults. So zero defaults on delivery, zero deviation from the specifications given by customer, no defects. And so whatever goes out of our factory, we are confident that that's the world-class product that we are sending out. So if we follow these kind of strategy, then probably there should be no reason why we should not become competitive to the entire world.
Absolutely, Shrikant. These strategies are very, and thanks for that insight. That's very helpful. Now, my next question is to Karthik. Karthik, your company was founded in 2018. Now, please correct me if I'm wrong. And barely 2 years into the founding, you have the pandemic of the century hitting the operations hard for everybody. Now, a new company, what are the lessons? Because for a new company, things hit harder than it does for everybody else. So what were the learnings that you had from the pandemic for your manufacturing?
Karthik is on mute.
Sorry. Am I audible now? Yeah. See, even though we started on 2018, by the time we showcased the product was in 2020 Auto Expo. So directly we were directly into this pandemic time itself. So finally, by the time now, one thing like people realized during this pandemic is like nothing is stable. Nothing we cannot consider the things are predictable. The market is predictable. There might be any sort of fluctuations or anything as such, as Sir rightly said. So in this, with this consideration, overall, pandemic also proved us one more thing, showcased one more thing for us, like घर की मुर्गी दाल बराबर नहीं है kind of a thing, wherein there is so many options that is readily available in India. So the things vocal for local, everything started, wherein we started looking right from beginning, we wanted to localize our complete product. But on the other hand, there were so many imported products which was running in the market at the lower cost than what we were offering, at a lower quality or anything as such. So the pandemic part of it also helped us in to a certain extent, wherein the things that we believed in was actually was the one that we were actually able to deploy it in the market. So we were able to prove the things that are readily available, the local products that are available, local parts that are readily available in India is of an international quality. We can build some better quality products or anything else. These are the things that we were able to prove. So in a way, pandemic taught us two things. One, nothing is stable. You have to be ready for any effects. But on the other hand, there are the things that is readily available here. Even with the things that is locally available, we can build a world-class product. These are the two things that was a takeaway for us.
Thanks, Karthik. Just one quick follow-up question. So how are the localization efforts going on? How successful are they for you?
Except for cells, everything is localized for us.
Oh, that's great news, Karthik. Thanks so much. And more power to you on that. Srini, thank you. Thank you so much, Karthik. Now, Srini, pandemic, with all the bad things and disastrous things that it did, one thing on the technology front that it did for the world was really propelled the digitalization movement or the phenomenon. And Autodesk obviously would have been one of the learners of what all happened in the world. Can you tell us more about how digitalization trends took off in the world and how has it impacted or influenced Autodesk?
Sure. Thanks, Anand. So, yeah, of course, you have come to a very right topic as such, and I think you have put that question correctly to me as such on when it came to technology for how to overcome it, kind of how we overcame this pandemic and what is the new things that is there for us. So basically, I think when the pandemic came, I think it was a kind of a learning for everyone. I think everyone were in a fix, and then I think everyone started to look at how best we can run and ensure that we deliver on the things. I think a lot of things. I think in that period only, I think I could see like whatever the platform right now we are using, the Zoom. I think flourished at that time. I think before that I didn't know about Zoom. So I think then everything came as virtual. So the meetings, everything has transformed to virtual. And of course, the customers who were every time they wanted to have a in meeting, so everyone accepted like virtual. And of course, it also gave us that these are disruptions, right? Right. I think this gives us new ways for us to look. And of course, from Autodesk point of view, I think what is basic, what mainly that we looked at to help our customers to on the technology wise to get the digitalization to move forward. I think I could broadly put this into two areas. One is the cloud-based platform to drive collaboration. I think that is more important. And of course, we are also touching upon the disruption in the supply chain. I think from a technology perspective, I think this one area like cloud-based solution platform to drive collaboration has been one of the key pillars for us. So where if you see the outdated approach, like often we have the design and manufacturing teams. So a lot of if you don't have that connected workflow, so what happens? A lot of data loss, human error, waste comes in. So with increasingly as we offered this platform, okay, so it is more like we are combining all these different departments or the different life cycle of product manufacturing, right? From CAD, CAM, CAE, simulation, PCBs, designs, workflows, everything together. So we are bringing everything into a platform so that it is easy and data is at the center. So this helps us to maximize the efficiency and productivity. And of course, the cloud-based solutions will help us like to work the team across the geos, across the globally, they can work together, and the sharing of information is seamless and instantaneous. And also, this gives us not only the working aspect of it, but also it is more business critical decisions can be made in a faster way because the data is there for the right people to make the judgment. And of course, the other key thing that I feel more important that on a technology wise that has helped us in the pandemic is the data-driven automation to boost productivity. So since we are talking about data at the center, so what happens is it's easy for us to capture more data, and through the right now we see a lot of new technologies, which I think we talk about more about AI and machine learning. So this data is more important for that, and which helps us to power the automation and increase the overall speed and efficiency in manufacturing. So it will greatly reduce the teams to work more collaboratively, and automation will definitely use to bring product development process faster, and we can work like this. This automation will start right from the concept designs or ideation to design to CAM programming and to the factory floor execution. So all these things are connected with, and of course the cloud computing and cloud collaboration is very vital in that. I think Autodesk is in that area to help the customers, help our customers, help the manufacturers around the globe on onboarding in that bandwagon.
Thanks so much, Lenny. You've mentioned something termed "make anything" in the profile. You drive this thing for customers. You imagine that anyone can make anything. Can you elaborate on that, please?
Yeah, of course. So as we say, make anything. So that means we have the technology which can, it's a comprehensive, so we can support any kind of CNC machines, any type of things, whatever may be kinematics, whatever may be the configuration of the machine, we will be able to support. And basically, when we talk about any manufacturing process or a machining process, so there the main thing is how we connect our software to the hardware. And of course, in that area, we are very strong in that from Autodesk Advanced Manufacturing portion or solutions. So in that way, we say that whatever designs you make, okay, so we can do that one with whatever the kind of machines there is availability is there. And of course, on top of that, I also want to add one thing, like the technology that we have is the generative design. So that is on the design side of it, because basically in generative design, what happens is it throws, like if you give the data, the basic kind of design idea, a kind of 3D data, and what happens is the cloud computing over there, the generative design concept, it creates multiple iterations of the possible solutions depending upon your manufacturing method, depending upon your cost factors. All those things are considered, and it throws you a multiple different varieties of design concepts, from which you can pick which is the right one for you to produce at the best possible time and rate kind of thing, and which is more functionally ready. So which is not just directly possible by any designer. So it is more like out of our thinking as such. So that is the concept that Autodesk has built on generative design technology, which throws you multiple iterations of designs, and you can easily pick and create any of those ideas that you have. You can really bring it into shape.
Fascinating. Tell us more about that, Sydney, during your presentation. Readers and viewers are urging me to take the same question to other speakers. I know you gentlemen have spoken about technology in your views for the last couple of questions, but this is purely about technology, how newer technologies, and everybody's talking about AI. So do please bring in AI wherever you can, or leave it out. I am not the expert. I don't know if AI is being used to enhance productivity at all. If it is, do please mention it. My question is, how is technology being used to enhance productivity and bring in elements of sustainability and resilience into productivity? Sharad?
Well, I think we talked about a lot of things, but I think one of the most important thing is, of course, sustainability and the whole, what we call as the EHS concept, environmental health and safety. Today, a lot of stakeholders, starting from the governments, but companies are involved in decarbonizing our world, and which is such an important objective for us. So companies which are doing this in a very good way are more attractive to the shareholder and create a lot of value. And so it is becoming imperative for all the companies to really focus on this aspect. And when I talk of environment, basically a host of initiatives to work on the sustainability as far as the environment and the energy transition and the concepts that we spoke of. I'd like to mention one specific thing, is recycling, which we undertake as part of the Sandvik group of companies, where I think we kind of take back the old used tools and then extract the raw materials and reuse them in fresh products. So that's one important and significant part of the sustainability as well. Important thing, also when we talk of productivity, one thing probably we missed was safety, and I think safety is such a big enabler for improving productivity. If you have a safe working environment, then I think definitely it boosts the morale of the people working over there, makes them feel very comfortable, and that's one of the significant contributor to the productivity. Well, I think you talked about technology. Yes, I think today technology can be definitely used or is being used to enhance the productivity. We talked of the lean manufacturing concepts, but along with that, we have the host of other technologies like Industry 4.0, which one of the speakers spoke about. Here, I think, automation, of course, is a big part of the story, but I think one of the big things is data analytics. So how to use data analytics to identify the things that we need to work upon, how we can use data analytics to throw the information on pinpoint areas where I think we can use or we can initiate some measures to improve the productivity. So I think this is very, very interesting, Anand. I think that Even maybe in some cases, when we talk about robotics and automation, it could be very capex intensive. It could be, but data analytics is something that I think definitely most of the manufacturing world, and something that we can start in India, even the small and medium scale companies, to work on this and start improving the productivity. So this is one area where I think we should really focus on, as we go on embracing the new technologies to enhance the productivity and output in our, speaking purely in terms of the Indian context.
Thanks so much, Sharad. Gentlemen, be prepared for one question on AIs that has come from the audience, which I'll ask after Sydney's presentation. As I was suspecting, somebody is going to bring up AI in the discussion, and my fears have been proven right. Shrikant, you spoke about a number of technologies, number of paradigms like Industry 4.0, and if I'm not mistaken, Industry 5.0 as well. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Can you tell us more about these paradigms and how they are changing productivity?
Yeah, probably everybody realized that Industry 4.0 was talking more on the technology side. It's more of the automation and the cyber world and the physical world coming together. That's what 4.0 was. But the human centricity in that was probably found missing. And that's where it got added and it became 5.0. To that, if you add sustainability, then obviously sustainable energy sources for whatever activities we are doing on. Specifically, we are talking manufacturing here. So that's the reason it becomes all the more important that we talk of sustainable energy sources, human-centric Industry 4.0, which becomes Industry 5.0. So that's the whole concept about it. And in terms of, since we're talking about performance metrics, there are a lot of metrics which are on sustainability, which are already now popular and getting monitored. Carbon footprint, we talk about it every now and then. So carbon footprint of the entire organization, which is into that, any field, manufacturing or any other. So that's becomes very important. So carbon footprint per your unit product sale. So how much of carbon dioxide emission is happening while you are producing a part? That also actually becomes very vital in terms of your measurement on sustainability. The other factors, how much of material you are consuming, what's the scrap there you are generating, how much water you are consuming, are you recycling your water, what's the hazardous waste that you are generating. So these are very important metrics when you talk of sustainability in a typical manufacturing environment.
Wow. See, today I learned something new about industry, that there is a paradigm called Industry 5.0. I just looked it up. I thought, Shrikant, that you've coined this term for today's discussion. And then as is my habit, I looked it up and I saw that it's actually very well practiced, very well adopted, as in not well adopted, but it is an emerging field. Thank you for introducing Industry 5.0 to our readers. And since it has the element of humanity, I think it's a much more important paradigm. I thought that a concept called triple bottom line thinking, for example, includes humanity and the planet into the bottom line of cost or profitability. But this is a new paradigm for manufacturing, and thank you for sharing that with us. Karthik, what are the technologies, newer technologies that are looking? And there's a question on AI, so please save the AI pitch for the audience Q&A. Other than that, what are the newer technologies you are looking at which are going to enhance productivity in the coming future? Can you hear me, Karthik? Okay, Karthik, panel is frozen.
Sorry, Anand, you're just crying.
We can hear you, Karthik. Please carry. Please go on. You can speak. Yeah, can you hear me?
Anand, I'm really sorry. I actually missed it out.
Okay. So Karthik, I think, is logged off. Maybe he'll come back in. Srini, why don't we begin the presentation? Karthik, can you speak? Oh, great. Thanks so much. Yeah, yes, over to you.
No, sorry. I missed your
right.
question
The technology question, Karthik. Newer technologies to enhance productivity, which are, let's say, top 3 technologies in your view, which are improving productivity levels on the shop floor.
Okay. See now, for example, when Toyota initially, initially they introduced the handloom, automated handloom or anything as such, there was a huge cry out in the market, like people are gonna lose their jobs or anything as such. But that never happened actually. But it was a new thing that was introduced, which helped in overall productivity as well as incremented the quality of the product or anything else. Now in the same way, when we are talking about the technology introduction into a product, into any production or anything as such, it always leads to automation and the numbers that you can crunch in with the limited resources and the limited amount of time or anything as such. So whatever you do, it should not be like it should be the new thing that is being introduced, and also the people who are already a part of this particular ecosystem, enhancing their capabilities in order to get make them adaptable to the new technology or anything as such. It should People are always a part of any technology driven product. So for that reason, what we feel is like, it's not only, yes, there are the new things we cannot avoid on the introduction of any new things that in the production, but the people in the system has to be made uh, and they have to be enhanced with that particular knowledge or anything.
Thanks so much, Karthik. Now I invite Srini to begin his presentation. Usually presentation happen at the beginning of any session or talk, but Srini and I felt that we could have this presentation at the end of the talk before the audience Q&A, so that we can include a lot of things, viewpoint discussed during the panel. Srini, over to you.
Okay. So thanks, and Anand, and thanks for all these speakers. So let me go through the presentation part as such. So what we are going to discuss today, I think it's in the next 15 minutes. So we are going to discuss like how Autodesk advanced manufacturing software for CNC machining and how it can help you automate the programming of complex, future-rich parts. Throughout, we will be focusing on Autodesk solutions, showcasing its most powerful capabilities, the latest updates, and revealing the impact that these are having on manufacturers like you. Let me check if it's moving, correct? Oh. So Anand, can you confirm it's coming to the next slide?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So the broad agenda that we are going to discuss today is, we will start with a quick introduction and reviewing some of the top trends in manufacturing. We will then look at some common operational challenges that businesses need to overcome, spotlight potential outcomes. We will talk about how Autodesk solutions can help you overcome today's challenges, showing biggest opportunities where automation can have an impact, and explain how automating common workflows can save time, avoid waste, and allow you to start machining higher quality parts sooner. And then I will showcase some of our most inspirational customers' stories and explain how they achieved positive outcomes with Autodesk solution. And we'll wrap up with a short summary and a Q&A towards the end. So let's continue by considering the major trends affecting manufacturers today and show how these actually represent opportunities for growth. So we are certainly in turbulent times. So manufacturers around the world are understandably concerned about geopolitical unrest, financial volatility. I think some of these things we have been touching upon, and the lasting impact of global pandemic. And there's a lot of doubt and uncertainty in the market, but at the macro level, so there are three things that are very clear. So there's a skill shortage, so the likes of which we are seeing now, and supply chain disruption, so making it harder to get products to market, but also making it harder to source spare parts and new equipment. And cost of goods continue to rise, making raw materials, component parts more expensive. And the upshot of all this is additional pressure on the team by the team to deliver goods quickly, while is minimizing cost, avoiding mistakes, and controlling waste. So in a static market, incumbent suppliers are next to impossible to displace. So, but every now and then we experience major events that change the natural order of things, meaning those that can adapt fastest become the new leaders. So we believe now is the time to reimagine possible and use this time of disruption and change to do things better. So for manufacturers, finding ways to control costs, maintain margins, fix supply chains, upskill people, and attract young talent means they are better positioned to win market share today and grow their markets share tomorrow, business tomorrow. So in a static, what do we mean when we say reimagine possible? So, well, there are many trends that you can take advantage of. For instance, more and more industries are being transformed by smart products. So this makes the machine tools around us more productive, but it also creates opportunities as consumer demand grows, product developers expand, and supply chains onshore. So manufacturing processes are increasingly being digitized, which provides greater flexibility and efficiency in the tools you use. And cloud technologies are changing how we manage our supply chains and manufacturing processes, helping deliver products on time, every time. So in the recent years, we have seen more industries embrace smart technology. So it's playing an increasing important role on shop floor too. For example, take smart hardware controllers from Datron, One Click Metal, ARS, Mazar, and others. So these all represent the bleeding edge of smart technology manufacturing, and we expect to see this trend expand and accelerate across the rest of the manufacturing. So it's just not products. It's not just products that are digitizing, but it's also the processes. Milling, turning, probing, welding, cutting, 3D printing, all provide a wealth of data for analytical purposes. But those processes aren't used exclusively. So it's a big problem when you have to use multiple software products to define and control your processes, and the situation gets worse if you need to make changes. So we believe manufacturers want a flexible platform that can accommodate, design, simulate, mill, turn, fabricate, do additive process and production management with all data at the center. And the recent events have shown the challenge of connecting people and suppliers to this data, something that manufacturers has been traditionally struggled to perfect. So we recognize the need for a flexible platform, one that can connect all aspects of the manufacturing supply chain, helping you to adopt faster. Because ultimately investing in the right digital manufacturing solution can make the difference between winning and losing the business. Yes, despite all these demands, manufacturers still accept an old acquainted experience. So multiple software tools with incomplete file formats, poor data control with the files being shared via email, wasteful manual processes, disconnected workflows, and a mix of digital and analog information. So this all impacts a manufacturer's ability to work effectively, increasing the likelihood of mistakes, delays, and lost businesses. So as manufacturers, we need to address these challenges and aspire to achieve 4 key values. So to create better products, to win more business, to improve operational efficiency, and to enable increased innovation. So clearly there are many macro elements that might be affecting your business. But there are also common operational challenges and obstacles that we often see in manufacturing. So these can collectively prevent you from achieving those key values just mentioned. So now, of course, you'll will be having your own unique challenges, and the most common that we see are constant need to keep up with the design changes, automate to reduce delivery times, the need to maximize CNC usage, and improve quality of manufactured parts, while is trying to manage resource consumption and address the skill gaps. So clearly there are a whole range of operational challenges that need to overcome in order for you to achieve success in your manufacturing business. You may have a range of outcomes you are looking at to measure, and which in turn provide those values for your business. So for this example, we might be looking at improving your manufacturing throughput, finding ways to produce more output in a given time scale. Likely, you'll be also looking at reducing the non-value added tasks in the process and remain productive. Being productive means creating good quality parts, so reducing defects and non-conformities is a must. Reduce defects and non-conformities in your production, then you will have fewer fewer scrap of parts, and therefore reducing your resource consumption and effect on the environment. And it will improve your collaboration across your organization by connecting people to the data, your manufacturing workflows, processes, what they use. And then we can speed up the process to get from design to manufacture, so which improves our time to market. So now each of these outcomes could stand on its own, but they are also invariably linked to each other. So they are triggered by overcoming the challenges I mentioned, just earlier mentioned. So choosing the right software technology, therefore, can help you overcome these challenges and achieve your outcomes. So the ideal result being that you are able to make more parts, make better parts, and use less resource making it. And which brings us neatly to Autodesk Advanced Manufacturing Solutions. So Autodesk continues to invest in manufacturing, having already spent more than 1 billion in our software solutions. Unlike many traditional manufacturing software products which offer annual updates, so we release major updates every 8 weeks, and we provide our latest technology and react quickly to customer needs when they need. And this is reflected in our growing number of commercial subscribers for Autodesk solutions, with more than 1 million users, active users monthly. And in the past 12 months alone, we have accelerated development, providing more than 300 major updates and enhancements to our solutions. And we have a ever-growing online community of users and who help us to inspire each other. And we are proud that the users have taken Autodesk design manufacturing products in the last few years and are excited to see how it grows and evolves. So let me showcase one area of Autodesk technology in work to bring success for our manufacturers. So when it comes to automating the programming of your parts, we are going to start with getting the setup done. So workpiece coordinate system, or WCS that we call setup, we can use the spindle mounted probes, CNC probes in the machine with the advanced manufacturing tools. We can add probing geometry, surface inspection, part alignment capabilities to monitor the quality and performance of the entire CNC machining process. Probe can also automate the part setup. This is especially useful in cases where the parts are machined are very large, heavy, and non-prismatic in shape, and require considerable time and effort to set up on the machine manually. So surface inspection allows key points to be measured and used to determine where the actual part is on the machine. This data can then be used to adjust the WCS on the machine to allow the NC machining code to be moved to align with the part. In many cases, automated part setup can only take few seconds or minutes to run, but it's considerably less than the manual setup times. So the same technology can be used to measure parts after machining operations to validate that the state of the part is as expected, catch on any non-conformity earlier in the process, and use the measurement data to make informed decisions to salvage parts. So if parts are already non-conforming, it's better to resign them to the scrap bin and avoid wasting any further machining time or money, making a bad part worse, more worse. So here we will be having a comparison between a manual setup and an automated process sequence on the same part. So in both the cases, the time code at the bottom right of the video indicates the time taken, and the manual video is running significantly faster than the automated setup, just for the purpose of the video. And even for an experienced operator, this process is difficult and time consuming to do manually, and this is especially true for large heavy and non-prismatic parts. The result is that the machine is sat idle and non-cutting parts, which eats into profit margins. So by programming setup sequences offline and running them as quick, repeatable, and accurate NC programs, profitability can be maximized as machine time can be better utilized for production rather than wasted through workpiece setup. Even in this simple example, the manual setup takes over 15 minutes, whereas the automated setup takes just 2 minutes, 40 seconds, representing a 82% saving on time on the machine. So to reduce the defects and non-conformities, using an automated setup process becomes an obvious choice for us. So the next one is this chart explains the traditional CAM workflow where all the data are fed to the CNC machine, and these data are fed every time, which leads to delay and slow processes to get the desired results. So all this box items are always repeated for each and every operations. But if you see with the automated process, so the Autodesk solutions removes all the repetitive tasks away and makes the programming process very easy and quick. So here in this this entire programming process is automated and therefore much simpler and shorter in comparison to the traditional operation-based or process-based CAM solutions. So there are very few simple steps to generate your NC code. So import your model or draw your geometry, automatically identifies the features and the operations and simulate it to validate, and that's it. The NC code is ready to be fed into the CNC machine for generating your machining your part. So what this helps is, this results in the reduction of programming time, help meet delivery schedules, improve time to market, reducing cost, and also helps to create quotes for cost estimations quickly. And due to, I think we have been talking about AI, machine learning kind of stuff. So this is one of those things which, due to the manufacturing intelligence built in the Autodesk solution, automates the repetitive tasks such as tool selection, defining feeds and speeds, choosing cutting parameters, different operations to finish the job. So all these things are dynamically updated, your process planning, and more efficient operations ordering. So this all contributes to producing consistent results. So this impacts your business in ability to standardize practices for all the programmers moving between parts and machines. Additionally, you can promote repeatability between employees using the same setup. Removing repetitive tasks removes the scope of human error to help produce consistent results for maintaining part quality. By removing the scope of human error, you additionally remove the chance of scrapped parts or machine crashes, minimizing the risks. So we have covered some great capabilities here, and the potential business benefits are clear. So before we start wrapping up, I would like to showcase some of our most innovative and successful customers. So this example is an oil and gas-based gas customer, manufacturing customer. So focused on providing downhole solutions globally. So they wanted to improve the operational efficiency and machine utilization at their Dubai site. So this followed a successful implementation from Autodesk at their two sister plants. So the results speak to themselves. 80% of 5-axis machine programming done offline, 20% improved machining efficiency, and $70,000 maintenance cost reduction per year. So this is the success of a large automotive OEM supplier customer. So their goal was to build an agile workforce following business transformations, reduction in workforce. So to achieve this, we help them to standardize and automate processes across multiple production facilities. So the outcome is 33% reduction in engine case machining from 60 minutes to down to 40 minutes, and using the CNC feature recognition capabilities of Autodesk solution, and establish new capital equipment of budget of 44 million following successful identification of manufacturing inefficiencies and equipment limitations, and reduce part inspection time from 5 days down to 1 hour with 100% of parts within tolerance. So by using our automated machine setups. So this is a HVAC refrigerating company, manufacturing company, so called Train Technologies. So they need to grow their business while reducing their environmental impact. So Autodesk supported the Train Technologies across design, materials, processes, mold, tooling, and machining. So the outcome was a reduction of over 3.1 million lbs of CO2, carbon dioxide equivalent emissions. So looking at this from a business impact, the results speak to themselves. 4,780 hours per year of additional machine capacity, 26% reduction in part cost, and 7-week reduction in product development process. So Formoplex is a UK-based company that operates from 4 sites, employs a skilled workforce of over 400 people, and has 44 machines. So they are tier 1 supplier for global blue chip customers, and is a world-renowned manufacturer of injection molding tooling, composite tooling, thermoplastics, and composite components for automotive, aerospace, defense, and for leading industries. So what they are looking at: increased throughput, efficiency, provide greater capability and scalability within their new facility. So they standardized on Autodesk Make solutions and implemented the automation process. So the desired outcomes were increase operational efficiency by 30% on standardizing on Autodesk advanced manufacturing toolsets for all the machines, maximizing their £6 million manufacturing investment through higher machine efficiency and faster connected workflows, and enabled 24/7 machine utilization by automating the manual processes for light out machining. So this is a bionic partition pictured here is an Airbus effort to build a lighter, stronger, and more environmentally compatible aircraft. So using technology, 3D build world's largest 3D printed aircraft cabin components. Airbus' new bionic partition is 45%, that is 30 kgs, lighter than the current designs. So when applied to the entire cabin and to the current backlog of 320 planes, so the Airbus estimates that the new design approach can save them up to 465,000 metric tons of carbon dioxide emissions per year, which is equivalent to around taking about 96,000 passenger cars off-road for 1 year. So 3D printing is helping them to reduce the company's environmental impact. The process is just using 5% of the raw material, which is traditionally, if they go by the traditional process, it is the machining from block of material. They are going to lose a lot on materials. And this 3D printing, the left out materials is also reused. So for for using in another parts. So I think it's 45% weight saving. So we have the numbers are over there on the screen as such. So all these things from the above customer references, what the kind of outcomes that we arrive by using Autodesk technologies in the shop floor is shown very here pictorially on cost savings, machining time reduction, better utilization, machine utilization, reduce scrap, and more. So let's wrap up with a quick summary. So today we have discussed some of the biggest trends in manufacturing and considers our operational challenges actually present opportunities to do better. We talked about Autodesk solutions and customer success stories, which led them to reimagine their new possible. And some of the questions to analyze here is your current manufacturing software solution truly delivering on its promise? Does it meet your needs today? Is it evolving fast enough to meet these challenges or changing needs of yours in future? So if for any of these questions, the answer is no, then it is time for you to relook at your software solution and remove the outdated, disconnected, inferior manufacturing solution that's there with you. So
Thanks.
And lastly, so this is the last slide of mine. So lastly, once we agree where to start, we can engage in a detailed discovery to lift the lid on what's stopping you achieving the capability and suggest a range of options for you to consider in order to solve it. And we call this generally a documented discovery session with customers. So you are open to invite us to your factory and we can plan a discovery session. So with that, I think it's time for Q&A. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much, Srini. Our readers and viewers will be very, very happy and very keen to reach out to you, Srini. They have lots of questions whenever I speak to them about Autodesk and its wonderful solutions. Thanks so much. You guys, you know where to find Srini. We are there as well. Gentlemen of the panel, you've been here and we have really, thank you for this informative discussion. We are at 4:30 p.m. and thank you for waiting for this discussion to end. We have the audience Q&A round. I know, Sharad, you had to leave. You waited back for us. So thank you. Absolutely. I'll make this worth your while, gentlemen. We have two questions out of many, many questions that we have received. I'm going to put the two questions together and just ask, and I'll ask Sharad the question first. One is from Iran, praise the influence of technology, the impact of technology. We have readers and not just any viewer. We have the faculty, management faculty of the University of Tehran. And the question is from Dr. Gholam Reza Dargi. Doctor, please pardon me if I pronounce it wrong. I'll ask for the real pronunciation when we hopefully meet. Please accept our feelings, our sentiments of appreciation and friendship for the wonderful, wonderful people of your university and your country. Dr. Dargi's question is about inflationary pressures and macroeconomic challenges and how productivity has to keep functioning, how productivity levels have to keep functioning and giving results and outcome in the face of that. That is part one of the question. Part two is from one Mr. Sharma from LinkedIn, Ritik Sharma, about AI. As I said, with AI, manpower so companies will start reducing manpower, then what will happen of productivity? Sharad, first you, part one and part two. Inflationary pressures and AI.
I think inflation is a reality now, I think, and it's going to stick for quite some time. So I think it's important that the companies deal with the inflation. So and I think we need to break it into parts actually. Where is it possible to do the maximum cost reductions? And as I explained that one of the areas where I think we can look at reducing the cost is basically looking at the fixed cost and how to improve the utilization of the fixed cost. And there I think there is a tremendous amount of the productivity improvements that can be generated in connection with the new technologies and the lean production systems, the lean manufacturing systems we use. So there, I think definitely, I think we have seen that, in combination of this, I think we are definitely able to reduce costs for customers, and I think the manufacturing becomes much more sustainable. In terms of the AI, I think, one of the areas which I think from a sales perspective I'm talking, because sales finally, I think it's a part of the whole value chain, is the area of forecasting. And in this environment where the businesses are, I think, and I said, I think the environment is oscillating, or it's not very steady, and I think it's uncertain. I think forecasting plays even more important role, in making sure that the companies know what to manufacture and what quantities, etc., etc. So we have seen that advanced systems, AI embedded system in the customer relationship management softwares can help the companies to understand and have better forecasting. And their AI, I think, has definitely seen that AI plays a good role in that. The other role is that, of course, as Shri was talking about the Autodesk, and I think we are also working closely with Autodesk to also have the cutting tool modules infused into the software, so that customers are able to use those cutting tool data, in a very good way in order to optimize the production processes and selection of the cutting tool parameters. There, I think the Sandvik Group is taking one step ahead in terms of how can we intelligently, based on the kind of data we have generated, make it easy for our customers, or make it easy to select the right cutting tool data. And there again, I think AI is one tool which can be very helpful. The other interesting technology, which of course is besides AI, which I must mention, is the blockchain technology, where blockchain technology is used in cryptocurrency today, but blockchain technology can be also used as a distributed ledger, as you know, and where a tool can be traced from its time it's manufactured to the time its end of its usage. The whole life cycle can be traced with the help of the blockchain technology, and that's another interesting application for manufacturing companies to make sure that they how the utilization happens and how can they work on the costs. So these are some of the areas where I think technology can be infused to help beat the inflation.
Thanks so much, Sharath, for your answers, and also for being a wonderful and a very patient panel speaker. Sharath, in case if you want to leave for some appointment, or
I need to leave, Anand. So thank you very much to all, and I think and I think okay. I will. So thank you very much.
Thanks so much for your time, Sharath.
Thank you. Bye
bye.
Thanks.
Shrikant, your views, one on how to keep productivity levels steady in the face of inflationary pressures, and second is the impact of AI on productivity.
Yeah, so I think one of the points that Sharad had already touched was on the material part. Now I would also say that probably it starts with the design. So you have to go back to the design board and see what changes you need to do, what value engineering you can do, what new engineering techniques you can utilize so that you can bring down the cost of the product at the design stage itself. And then comes, the operational efficiencies part, for which we deliberated in last 1 hour on, what all new things need to be done. So I think both these things put together, and that's where I think what Srini had presented also comes into picture, where saving, 1 rupee saving at design at stage probably yields into 10 rupees saving at the factory gate. So it's all the more important that you start working on design itself when you have to deal with the inflationary pressures.
Thanks so much, Shrikant. Dr. Dargi, 1 rupee is Indian currency. I think for Iran it will be real. I don't know the conversion rate right now. You'll have to check at your end. But I hope that you got your answer from Shrikant about how to face inflationary pressures for productivity. Thanks so much, Shrikant. Karthik, your take?
See, change is one second. Yeah. See, change is one thing which is constant, which we cannot actually avoid. So inflationary pressures or anything else that would always be there. Every time, it's not like everywhere there is one or the other new product that is being involved or deployed in the market or anything else. There will be some sort of a competition that we'll be seeing with the same. So it's not like all the time we'll be carrying out with the same product yet again and again and again and again. So And on the other hand, with respect to the AI tools also, this is there to support the existing production. It's not there to replace the complete production. So it won't be disruptive actually. It would be more productive. So in anything which is helpful, see, one thing with respect to the production is in and out, how fast we can take out the product or anything as such. It's not like how long the time at which it will be there in the factory is the time that is actually adding it to the cost or anything. So overall, like whether be it AI tools or any other, like even for that matter, like any tool for that matter, whatever we'll be using, that would be in order to optimize the overall operations, and not just it's not just only to reduce the pricing or anything else. Yes, every rupee saving, every value that we save is actually helpful on the overall product or profitability of the company. But overall optimization and getting the better quality product or anything as such, and changing the design frequently or time and time, or like updating the overall designs, all these comes into picture.
Thanks, Karthik. Srini, your take on macroeconomic challenges, how to maintain productivity, and the second is AI.
Well, as other panelist members touched upon, I think design concept, what Srikanth was talking about, and of course, right from design. So I think, yeah, of course, I do agree with those things, right? Starting from design concepts itself, we have to think about the end results and how efficiently we can do those things. And over and above that, I think on the part of inflation, that means inflation is proportionally directly proportional to how you are going to do more efficiently or work more efficiently to reduce your cost. So there, everything comes into picture, like reducing the scrap and machining processes or your entire manufacturing processes, how to keep it more efficient and agile. And of course, I think what Karthi was touching upon, Karthik, on the customization factors that is there. I think we are not doing one component and keep on doing the same thing. And the nowadays the scenario has changed and it is more customized, and the customers are very well aware of what they need. I think customization has come in, so we have to be very agile in our thing. So, and to over and above on that, on the customization, how to reduce the cost or how to ensure that we are more cost effective in the competitive world. So I think keeping all these things in mind, I think one of the other tools I think which is more important for all the companies to look at is how data analytics. I think coming back to data. So because we have a lot of data, but how we analyze the data. So tracking process, how to track it, and how we can analyze that one and see which areas that we, because yeah, the same thing can't fit for every company, or the same we can't say that one thing, one solution, and that will fit for everyone. So same thing. So depending upon their workflows on this thing, so they should have the tracking mechanism on the data. They have to analyze the data and get to understand which areas they need to improve. And of course, they have to, if they really do that one, I think of course we can be more cost effective, which will definitely we can come out of the inflation part. On the AI side of it, if I have to talk, I think I touched upon this one earlier in my conversation itself and in the presentation part as well. So we do have technologies already started. I think a lot of our customers have started using AI to some extent in different levels, I could say. And one area that I think basically we are very strong, and I think coming back to the design concept level of things, where we are not just only looking at 2 or 3 designs and trying to fix it, saying that this concept design is more better. I think we are using our generative design capabilities, and which will throw you multiple options on different parameters, and you can pick the right one. And at the design stage itself, you are ensuring that what is going to be your end results, and what is the cost of that, and what is the actual manufacturing process that you need to have the setup, or either you have in-house or whether you have to offshore that one, the process. So all those things, all those ideas and all those processes are well defined upfront, which will definitely help you in moving or taking your process much faster, and and it's very much the seamless process, and it is a connected environment for us. I think that's what I could say on AI part.
Very informative, Shiti. Very informative. Thank you so much, gentlemen. This was not an easy subject to share your thoughts on, especially on people. The larger audience would not so much get the nuances, the technical nuances, but you explained it in such an engaging and simple, not complex thoughts, that it was absolutely very wonderful, very engaging, every bit. And we will not let your effort go in vain. We will take these messages, learnings, insights through our magazines and related platforms to not only India, but the world, as Srikanth has been subliminally conveying with the map of the world in his background, that we should not just let this confine this to this country, but all over the world. Thank you, gentlemen, for giving us your time. Thank you to your organizations for letting us have these thoughts. Have a brilliant, brilliant day, and I hope to stay in touch.
Thank you, Anand.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, all the panelists. Thank you. Have a nice day.